In our astrological birth chart, Chiron represents the wounds in which we heal in others and yet not within ourselves. So understanding your Chiron sign and house placement helps you understand really what your biggest unconscious unworthiness blockages may be that keep you from manifesting the life you desire. And so in today's video, I want to cover everything that you need to know about having your Chiron in the sign of Sagittarius so you can break through your limitations and live an empowered, healed life. Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Isabel, your spiritual rebel friend, and today we are talking about having your Chiron in the sign of Sagittarius in your birth chart. In today's video specifically, I'm going to cover an overview into Chiron, what this asteroid is all about, the Sagittarius Archetype Explained, Chiron in Sagittarius Explained, Chiron in Sagittarius through all the houses for your personalized natal chart interpretation, and how to apply this knowledge. So if you are someone who not only likes to take in the information of astrology, but know how to practically apply it to your life for healing, growth, or empowerment, watch through to the end of this video where I'm going to share some of my top tips for healing your Chironic wound so that you can manifest with more ease and feel more healed. And before I dive in, before we get any further, be sure to book a reading in the link in the description below where in 1 hour we can dive deep into any and everything regarding the stars, your natal birth chart, transits, how astrology applies to your career, your love life, and so much more. Sky is the limit with these readings, or stars are the limit with these readings. So learn more down in the link in the description box below. Check out the timestamps down below if you already know all about Chiron and you just want to jump to Chiron in Sagittarius or Chiron in Sagittarius through the houses. Check out the timestamps because I always forget to mention that they're there, but they are. And also, if you are interested in learning more about astrology on your own, check out my other astrology offerings, such as my astrology course and my astrology workbook bundle down in the link in the description box below, as well as my astrology coaching membership where you get personalized monthly guidance for only $100 a month and unlimited access to all of my astrology course and astrology workbooks for life. So check it out. Link is in the description box below. Let's dive into what it means to have your Chiron in Sagittarius, starting off by bringing back an old video talking about Chiron and then jumping back to present day filming to talk about what the Sagittarius archetype is all about. So first and foremost, what is Chiron? Chiron is not a planet, it is an asteroid that we can find in our birth chart. And it'll look like a circle with a K on it, or how I see it, it's a key, which is the key to healing. Chiron is known as the wounded healer. And what it represents, simply put, is the wounds that we heal in others but don't heal in ourselves. You can imagine with the story of Chiron, this idea of almost a medic on a battlefield who is going around tending to others' wounds while they're at the same time have their own wounds that are causing them to bleed out, but they're not taking care of it. And so whatever sign Chiron is in our chart represents that wound we go about healing in others and tending to, but we are not healing within ourselves. The sign that your Chiron is in specifically tells you what archetype you have wounds associated with. So for example, if someone's Chiron was in Cancer, maybe they feel wounds associated with being nurtured. However, they seem to be the most nurturing people you know. So Chiron, at its root in many ways, this idea of having this wound that we heal in others but not ourselves has a lot to do with worthiness. It tells us what we feel we are unworthy of giving ourselves. And yet at the same time, we tell everyone else that they are worthy of. So working through your Chiron, understanding the sign your Chiron is in, as well as the house, tells you what the wounds are that you heal in others but not in yourself, and can also tell you what worthiness blockages may keep you limited. By not healing your Chiron, this could play out as feeling an emotional sense of woundedness. This could cause projecting our emotions onto others. This can cause us, simply put, because we're not feeling worthy, to become a blocker for our manifestations. So if you feel like there's certain manifestations that you've been working towards that haven't been coming through, it is possible it's because your Chiron wound that is causing unworthiness has not been fully healed. But given that it is something we heal in others, in many ways, Chiron can be a gift to the world. It is something that you can help others heal, truly. But we can only do so and truly do our best healing work when, of course, we heal that within ourselves. After all, a medic bleeding out on the battlefield trying to tend to others' wounds is eventually going to find that they have to take care of themselves in order to continue to heal others. So what is the Sagittarius archetype? Sagittarius is the explorer of the physical and the mental realm. They are the final fire sign in the zodiac wheel. And fire has everything to do with desire. So the concept or question that comes up with all fire signs is, how far can desire go? And so Sagittarius is the highest expression of desire, the desire to understand, the desire to explore, and the passion for living that comes through contemplation and exploration. So Sagittarius's role in the archetype or in the zodiac wheel is to explore. They are known as the trailblazer. And I like tying in Capricorn when we talk about Sagittarius, because Sagittarius is envisioning the way forward through a passionate desire, saying, I wonder if we could go up this side of the mountain, or if we could reach the peak by going up the left side and then coming over the saddle and up the pass. And Capricorn's job later on is to then say, okay, well, I'm going to go do it. You gave me the path, you gave me the roadmap, I'm going to go achieve it. So Sagittarius's role is to provide the roadmap through curious contemplation, but coming from a place of desire. This isn't an air sign. This isn't the desire to, so to say, learn. This isn't a curiosity. This isn't fully just a mental desire. It is a desire for physical movement and to contemplate spiritual ideas for the sake of physical movement. So to break down Sagittarius themes, Sagittarius has to do with optimism, enthusiasm, being a visionary, and ideology. Again, physical and mental exploration. So hence why oftentimes if you know a Sagittarius, or the stereotype of a Sagittarius is that they are adventurous, adrenaline junkies who are always doing something new. And to be completely honest, I feel like every Sagittarius sun I know is always on some crazy adventure, whether it's going axe throwing or learning to make sushi in Japan. The list goes on. They always find those creative things to do because they want dynamic movement in their life. Dynamism is definitely a great word to describe Sagittarius. And if you know about the gene key system, which I do not talk about enough on this channel, the gene key of dynamism definitely does remind me of Sagittarius, although it is technically not a Sagittarius placement, so to say. So point being, the Sagittarius archetype is where we learn to envision a future where we allow optimism and enthusiasm to passionately drive us to explore the world, to step into the unknown, and have wildly passionate curiosity. So with those general themes all in mind, though there's so much more we could go into about the Sagittarius archetype, what does it mean to specifically have your Chiron, the wounded healer, in Sagittarius? With a Chiron in the sign of Sagittarius, though I have never met someone with this placement, I believe, I would think that a Chiron in Sagittarius feels that they encourage everyone else to explore their horizons, to expand their horizons, to step into the unknown. I can't help but think of the movie The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. There's a quote in it that I'm going to butcher that roughly goes along the lines of, to see the world, to see behind walls, to step into the unknown. That is the meaning of life. The idea of chasing the endless horizon. And that is overall the theme of the movie, is learning to step out of your comfort zone and see the world. And I think a Chiron in Sagittarius really resonates with this idea. And in a sense, watching this movie maybe would be insightful because the main character actually really goes through this Chironic healing journey, similar to having a Chiron in Sagittarius specifically, learning to allow yourself to step into the unknown, both mentally and physically. So Chiron in Sagittarius is the person who goes about healing the wound of Sagittarius traits in others. This is someone who encourages others to expand their personal beliefs, encourages personal ideologies, to explore their physical world and their mental realm, who encourages others to share their enthusiasm and optimism. But they themselves may feel like these traits are not welcome, because Chiron is not just what we heal, it is the wound within ourselves. And so a Chiron in Sagittarius may feel that they are not allowed to be enthusiastic. They cannot be optimistic, and that they shouldn't really align with personal beliefs or ideologies. They may feel as though ideologies, that's not supposed to be important to me. Personal beliefs, not important to me. Exploration, stepping into the unknown, learning things that I don't know, questioning my beliefs, learning and going new places. No, we don't need to do that. We're supposed to just live a simple life. I think that is very much a theme for a Chiron in Sagittarius, feeling like any sort of explorative attitude was shut down in early years. I always feel like whenever I talk about Chiron, it does err on the side of coming closer almost to talking about Black Moon Lilith interpretations. So I personally feel that if you want also more ideas on Chiron and Sagittarius, learning about Black Moon Lilith and Sagittarius could be helpful as well. But these are slightly different because Black Moon Lilith is a power that we own, whereas Chiron is something we heal in others more so slightly different. Point being, Chiron and Sagittarius may feel like they are not allowed to embrace this explorative, adventurous, optimistic, enthusiastic, visionary nature, and yet they encourage this in other people because they feel that they are supposed to be simple. They are supposed to just follow the status quo. They're supposed to not want to question or find deeper meaning. Sagittarius is all about finding meaning. Sagittarius and the ninth house both ask the question of, why are we here? They want to understand a deeper reason behind existence. Hence why when we're talking about Sagittarius, religion and ideology come up, as well as philosophy, because they want to understand the deeper mechanics of life and explore the world to understand and get in closer connection with their understanding of life. But if you have a Chiron in Sagittarius, you may encourage this in other people, but not embrace this yourself. You may feel like it's unimportant to have personal beliefs, to understand life, to learn about philosophy, and discover your life's meaning. Now, based off of the house that your Chiron in Sagittarius is in, will change a little bit about how exactly I interpret this. So I want to take the next few minutes of this video to talk about Chiron in Sagittarius briefly through all 12 houses. So check your chart. What house is Chiron and Sagittarius in for you? If you use the Placidus system, make sure that you are double checking what exact degree Chiron is in your chart to confirm what house it's in. If you use whole sign, this makes this process a little bit easier. Both are good. If your Chiron is in Sagittarius and in the first house, you feel that you encourage other people to embrace their optimistic, enthusiastic, visionary, and ideological attitude towards life, yet you feel this is a persona you cannot be recognized for, you are unworthy of it, and feel a sense of woundedness around this topic. If your Chiron is in Sagittarius and in the second house, you probably encourage other people to spend money on their experiences, to spend money on the things that allow them to explore and to find a sense of self-worth through your personal beliefs and ideologies, and have an enthusiastic attitude towards your love for yourself. Yet you feel this is something you can't embrace because this is your wound, yet while you encourage other people to embrace this themselves. Chiron is in Sagittarius and in the third house, you embrace at your core, or at least want to embrace, a more philosophical type of dialogue in your daily network. You encourage other people to ask deep questions in their daily life and form more philosophical connections, find meaning through their daily network. Yet you feel this is something you cannot embrace because this is your wound. You feel as though to embrace any sort of enthusiastic, optimistic, ideological, visionary conversation type in your daily life is wrong. If your Chiron is in Sagittarius and in the fourth house, you encourage other people to be optimistic, enthusiastic, visionary, and ideological in their home and family, being seen for their personal beliefs. Yet this is something you yourself feel wounded about, and you feel as though to share your personal beliefs, your ideologies, and your philosophies within your household is wrong, so to say. If your Chiron is in Sagittarius and in the fifth house, you take an explorative attitude to your passions and find that you want to explore many different creative pursuits, or simply put, you want to take an optimistic, enthusiastic, ideological, and somewhat explorative attitude to dating. Yet you feel that while you encourage other people to do this, you yourself cannot embrace this because this is something you feel wounded about. If your Chiron is in Sagittarius and in the sixth house, you encourage other people to explore on a daily basis, to explore their horizons and prioritize their personal beliefs and ideologies. Yet you feel this is something you cannot embrace because you are wounded on this topic. If your Chiron is in Sagittarius and in the seventh house, you encourage and heal in other people the idea that they deserve to have a relationship where they are explorative, contemplative, finding meaning in their relationship, and in a relationship where people are supported for their personal beliefs and ideologies. Basically, you encourage and heal within others the idea of, a love that is an adventure. Yet you feel this is something that you don't deserve, you're unworthy of, because this is your wound. Your Chiron is in Sagittarius and in the 8th house. You encourage others to have deep, intimate relationships, to cultivate intimacy with themselves and others by discovering their personal beliefs, their ideologies, and exploring with someone or exploring yourself. You find a sense of, or not you find, you encourage other people to find a sense of intimate meaning, deep meaning in life, deep connection to life through discovering personal beliefs and exploring the world. Yet this explorative attitude towards intimate relationships and towards yourself is something that you find hard to embrace because this is something you feel unworthy of or wounded about. If your Chiron is in Sagittarius and in the 9th house, this is stereotypical, traditional Chironic Sagittarius energy, as Sagittarius created the 9th house. And so this really accentuates the idea that overall, the idea of meaning, finding a meaningful life, exploring the world, seeing the world, traveling the world, discovering your personal beliefs, learning about philosophy, living in alignment with enthusiasm, or finding an enthusiasm towards life through discovering meaning, those are all topics that you encourage in others, but you feel yourself you cannot embrace as this is your wound. If your Chiron is in Sagittarius and in the 10th house, you encourage other people to find a sense of meaning in their career likely, or to develop their enthusiasm, optimism, and share their personal beliefs within their profession. They deserve success for their personal beliefs, and yet you feel this is something you yourself cannot embrace as this is your wound. If your Chiron is in Sagittarius and in the 11th house, you encourage other people to cultivate communities, cultivate connections, cultivate a social group that aligns with their personal beliefs and makes life feel like an adventure. People who want to explore with you is the idea that you encourage other people towards. Yet you feel like this is something that you are unworthy of because Chiron is in your 11th house and this is your wound. And finally, if your Chiron is in the 12th house and in Sagittarius, you encourage other people to explore their unconscious mind, to explore their beliefs, to have, so to say, this more contemplative attitude towards, well, what's lying underneath the surface? What do you believe? And to be more introspective or spend time in solitude. Yet you feel this is something you cannot embrace because this is your wound. You feel unworthy of allowing yourself the space and time to contemplate, go within, and have introspective exploration. So with all those interpretations in mind, how exactly do you heal a Chironic wound? I want to take the last few minutes of this video to quickly recap how to heal your Chiron in Sagittarius specifically. First and foremost, an underrated first step is awareness is key. Becoming aware of when you feel this Chironic wound is triggered. Who triggers this Chironic wound? Who do you see embracing this explorative, optimistic, visionary, ideological attitude that frankly triggers you? Or when do you feel that you want to embrace this yet you can't? Or when do you feel just this frustration that you can't just embrace this explorative attitude, that you can't just allow yourself to own this visionary, optimistic, enthusiastic side of you that wants to question, contemplate, and find meaning? Becoming aware of the triggers is one of the most healing steps for your Chiron in Sagittarius, so then you can identify when it's coming up. It's so much more healing than you expect it to be just to become aware. Secondly, Chiron is the wounded healer. And so I've found, based off of experience with clients, that sometimes the best way to heal ourselves is to heal others. So how do you heal this Chironic wound in others? How do you encourage other people, heal in other people, accept in other people, and nurture in other people an optimistic, ideological, visionary, explorative attitude? How do you encourage other people to discover their personal beliefs? How do you encourage them to explore, either physically or mentally? How do you nurture this in others? Observe how you heal this in others. Go about healing it in others. And this can be very healing towards yourself. And finally, the last thing I'd recommend for healing a Chiron in Sagittarius is you have to at some point act differently. How can you encourage and both a verbal and physical explorative attitude? Sharing your personal beliefs, learning about your personal beliefs. How can you cultivate Sagittarius themes in your life? Understanding the house that your Chiron in Sagittarius is in can help with the first and third step. Becoming aware of where this Chironic wound is going to show up the most. If it's in your second house, paying attention to when your self-worth gets triggered in your finances, when you're doing your budgeting. If it's in your 10th house, paying attention in your career. And also for the third tip of acting differently. If it's in your 7th house, how can you be more explorative in your relationship? If it's in your 8th house, how can you focus on sharing your ideologies for intimacy? The list goes on. The house helps, simply put. So let me know in the comments below, did this video help you understand what it means to have your Chiron in Sagittarius? Do you have more questions and answers popping up? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And if you want to dive deeper into how your Chironic wound may be unconsciously or consciously limiting you in your career, your relationships, or if you want to dive into other areas of your chart, book a reading down in the link in the description box below. And be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and stay tuned for more videos breaking down the stars and more. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Sincerely hope you enjoyed. Once again, my name is Isabel, and from my heart to yours, namaste.